Hello, good morning, everyone. How are you? Welcome to Doctors Against Genocide weekly webinar. It's good to have you all back. We're still the beginning of the year, and we are definitely working our way during this year, standing against genocide. We have guests from Rohingya today. We want to learn as much as possible from them on about the facts on the ground. Rohingya is a site where the Rohingya people have suffered a tremendous genocide. A lot of atrocities are happening, lack of medical care. Genocide is a public health catastrophe for the Rohingya people, and we need to raise awareness on that. We will have our colleagues from Gaza joining us, hopefully, and updating us on what is happening there. People in Gaza continue to have no shelter. Mobile homes have not been allowed. Even desks for students are not allowed. So the genocide continues in many shapes and forms. We will also hear from our colleagues in Congo. And hopefully, yes, and we have Dr. Al Siddiq Al Mahdi, who is a Sudanese American doctor who will also give us updates on what is happening in Al Fasher and in other areas in Sudan. Yassine, can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your group?
Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. This is Yasin, and I'm originally from Myanmar. I hope you know me, and now I'm joining from the largest refugee camps in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. So, as everyone knows, we are the most persecuted. We are considered to be the most persecuted community in the world, and we have been facing genocide for many years, and we are displaced so many times. And now we are living in the largest refugee camp in another country, which is called Bangladesh. And we are the Rohingya youth growing up in displacement, yet driven by hope, unite with a shared determination to reclaim our dignity, strengthen our communities, and build a future rooted in justice, knowledge, and self reliance. Despite statelessness, persecution, and prolonged displacement, we refuse to be defined by victimhood. So that is why so many of Rohingya youth have formed so many youth led initiatives who are actively working in the camps, and we are one of them. So we have also formed an organization like initiatives, which is RYEA, Rohingya Youth Empowerment Association. So I'm gonna brief my initiative right now. May I share the screen, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Uh, Sorry for making you wait.
No worries.
And yeah, so this is my initiative, Rohingya Youth Empowerment Association, which is empowering youth for self-reliance, leadership, restoring dignity, promoting peace, education, and building a just future. So this is who we are, a Rohingya youth-led community-based organization founded to empower Rohingya youth through education, leadership, and advocacy, operating within the refugee camps in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. We are youth-led and driven by volunteers from the Rohingya community. So what our contests and reality are actually, we are Rohingya people or survivors of genocide and ethnic cleansing in Myanmar, statelessness, forced displacement, and prolonged encampment, limited access to education, livelihoods, and higher opportunities. Yet, a generation of resilient and motivated youth is determined to contribute positively. So this is like our primal, born into displacement, yet driven by hope and determination, refusal to be defined solely as victims. We are committed so to dignity, justice, and self-reliance. We believe in the Rohingya youth as agents of positive and peaceful change. So this is our vision of my initiative. A resilient and educated Rohingya youth community. We really want to build a self-empowered and rooted in human dignity, constructive contributors to society, youth leadership in shaping a peaceful and sustainable future. So this is our mission: empower Rohingya youth through education and skill development, build leadership and civic responsibility, promote community service and youth-led initiatives, advocate for justice, human rights, and peaceful solutions. So our values are dignity and equality, like respect and equal opportunity for every youth, education and knowledge. So foundation for long-term empowerment, unity and solidarity, strength through cooperations and inclusion, peace and nonviolence, dialogue and constructive engagement, integrity and accountability, which is transparency and responsibility. So these are our commitment: access to equality, quality, formal and non-formal education, because education is very important and we really need it to develop our community. So literacy, numeracy, and digital skills development, vocational and life skill trainings, integration of moral, ethical, and modern education. So we conduct a lot of programs in the camps as possible as we can. So our core programs areas are education and skill development, youth leadership and civic engagement, livelihood and self-reliance, promoting well-being, advocacy and human rights, culture and social harmony. So our targeted beneficiaries are Rohingya youths, especially male and female, young women leaders, vulnerable and marginalized youth, persons with disabilities, young refugees, children, or young learners. So we have founded this initiative in basically in 2025. So since we have formed it and since we have been working, we have had some achievements and we can say success stories, like youth learning initiatives like Ikra Bright English Institution, where we provide basic English courses to the refugee children. And another one is Golden Apple Private School. It's a primary school and Rohingya children learning centers where informal educations are taught. to the Rohingya refugee young children. And leadership training participation, like community-led advocacy approach, personal leadership development, HR, advocacy, etc. Another one is community awareness activities like Rohingya history and cultural awareness, community legal awareness, human trafficking, social justice, etc. Emerging youth advocates, and we also have a team that donate blood in any camps if needed, free. Yeah, that is a blood donation team. So our youth leadership and self-reliance. What do we do for that? Leadership development with a focus on young women, youth-led clubs, initiatives, and community service. Promotion of lawful livelihoods and income generating skills like tailoring, teaching or learning sewing machines like. So encouragement of entrepreneurship and innovation, like making snacks, different kind of cultural foods, something like that. And for protection and well-being and inclusion, awareness of mental health and psychosocial well-being, protection against exploitation, abuse, and extremism, inclusive participation of girls, persons with disabilities, and vulnerable youth, promotion of social cohesion and safety. So we can also do advocacy and human right identity. So amplifying like Rohingya youth voice globally through social media, peaceful advocacy for citizenship, justice and safe return, promotion of international human rights principles, preservation of the Rohingya language, culture, and identity. So we also have so many challenges and also needs. So these are the challenges and our needs, like restricted access to formal education because no organization, no NGOs provide formal education for the Rohingya refugee students. So this is our needs and also our challenges. Limited livelihood opportunities, resource constraints and lack of financial support, mental health and protection risks, higher healthcare facilities. So we are facing these challenges and we are really in need of this. So what are our future plans? We need to expand skills training programs, strengthen youth leadership structure, increase advocacy platforms, and build sustainable youth networks in the future. So this is our call to action. We need your help. We need the help of global community. So what we want to say is recognize Rohingya youth as partners, not merely aid recipients. Support youth education, leadership, and mental well-being initiatives. Engage Rohingya youth in policy, research, and humanitarian response. Stand with us for dignity, justice, and peaceful future. Support Rohingya youth as partners in change. So, eventually, RYEA, my organization, is a collective pledge to current and future generation, empowerment over dependency, dignity over despair. With global solidarity, Rohingya youth can lead positive change. Thank you for listening and standing with the Rohingya community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Yasin.
So,
Welcome.
yeah, I forgot to say something. Actually, we have 600 plus volunteers working under this initiatives. Actually, thank you so much.
Can you stop sharing the screen so we can talk, please?
Hello.
Can you stop sharing the screen so we can have a
Okay,
discussion?
sir. Okay, okay.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Karam, are you there? Yeah. So thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Mr. Yassine, for this. This is a great initiative, and I think from the hearts and the clapping and the emojis that we are getting, it seems you got a lot of support. It seems our people here are really supporting your work, and we are happy to collaborate with you. In the past, we did try to work with a couple of Rohingya movements. We had problems with money transfers. Inshallah, we'll try to fix it better with you this time. If you don't mind, you can come back every week or every other week, give us update about your work. And maybe
Inshallah, inshallah.
by next week, we'll create a donation link specifically for your initiative that we can share it here with our, supporters and colleagues, and we will take it from there. Anyone from the panelists, Karama, any feedback, any questions, please?
I do have questions. Yassine, it's great to hear from you, and this is a powerful initiative supporting the youth is the future for all of us. I wanted to ask you about education opportunities in the camp. Where do what is the situation with
Yes.
from 6 to 18? Are there colleges? Are there universities? Just tell us what.
Actually, we don't have the access to any formal education in the camps, and we have some camp-based and community-led private schools, like learning centers in the camps. The Rohingya teachers teach in their community-based schools in the camps. This is, we cannot say this is formal, this is just an informal education system. So we have the access, even the informal education, we have the access to study just class 12 based on the Myanmar new curriculum textbooks. So only class 10 and 12, the informal education. So after finishing the 12, there is no opportunity to get the access to higher education like university level.
So you cannot go to college in Myanmar or any of the surrounding areas?
No, nowhere. Even in the host country, it is not allowed for us to move to other places from the camp, and we are not allowed to access any formal education in their country. And in Myanmar, it is not possible. Yeah.
What is the barrier?
Barrier is, you can say, identity. We don't have any legal identities. So this is the biggest barrier.
That's a very big problem. What
Yeah.
Yeah, what are the possible solutions? What can the international community do? How can we advocate for the people of the Rohingya to actually be able to get into post secondary graduation?
Yeah, we can urge the international community or international universities and college to provide free funded scholarship, uh, even though if it is online or offline, both are okay. So at least we can do that. We can ask so many universities. There are so many universities who offer a scholarship to the refugee children. So we are not getting that opportunities. If we ask, if we request them, and I think there would be a possibility to get the higher education.
Okay. And the other question that I have is what about medical services?
Medical services. There are so many NGO-based medical centers in the camps, but it is basic. If someone is seriously ill, or if we are in need of any higher medical access facilities, so it is not possible here.
Uh, Okay, so we need to learn more about the Rohingya people. We need to support them. We need to advocate for education. We need to advocate for medical services and not turn away from this really massive discrimination. It's unbelievable. So,
Thank you
Yassine,
so much.
Yassine, thank you for joining us. Thank you for educating us about your people. Thank you for the initiative that you started, which is very much needed for your community. I think we make the promise for the communities that we get in touch with to support them the way they want to be supported, support their needs, their basic needs, and above all, support their future. And education is the future. So let's brainstorm together and keep this conversation going. And please join us every week.
Inshallah. Sure, sure. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Great. We have Anthony today. Hello, Anthony. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hi.
Anthony, we have our colleagues from Sudan and our colleagues from Gaza. Can you hang in with us for a little
Yeah,
bit?
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, great. Dr. Al-Siddiq, can we, I see you here and you're one of our speakers. We also have Mundir from Gaza. Can we just give Mundir the opportunity to give us an update on how he's doing?
Yeah, I'm still alive. That's the most important thing. Good evening from Gaza, everyone. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk and update you what is going on in Gaza. Uh, Today is Sunday, 11th of January 2026. And we should be in a ceasefire, but unfortunately, we are still having some bombs and some rockets. We are trying. We have become actually familiar with all the rockets all over the world, and now they are trying new rockets in Gaza. Recently, or 2 days ago, they killed 13 people, and today 3 people reached to at Shifa hospital. So we are in a ceasefire, but Israel is still bombing us here in Gaza. So that is the situation in terms of the situation. And in terms of weather, actually, I want to talk about the weather. It is freezing here. The temperature is very, very low during the night time. So tomorrow, I'm planning to make a project to distribute blankets for displaced families here in Gaza, and that will be sponsored by Doctors Against Genocide. That is the updates that I want to share with you, and hopefully this project will get warmth and dignity for displaced families who is still staying in the tents. Even we are in a ceasefire, as I mentioned, but there is no progress in terms of rebuilding or make any change about the situation.
Mundir, thank you for this. How many families are we gonna help tomorrow? 134?
134, that's a camp in Khan Yunis.
Okay,
I
inshallah.
got an appeal from them, and hopefully tomorrow I'm planning to apply this appeal and help them and do the project in the best way, and make sure I will distribute for every single family that we have in this camp.
So this winter has been of the hardest winters ever in the recent history in Gaza. They already have almost 10 storms so far. And today the weather is decent today, but there's a major winter storm coming starting tomorrow or the day after.
Tomorrow or
Inshallah,
after tomorrow.
inshallah, we're
Yeah.
gonna try. Please try your best to try to get those maybe hopefully done and distributed before this coming storm.
It is getting actually more cold these days, and we have winds 2 days ago, we have a very heavy winds, and that's make the situation more difficult for the people who's still staying in the tents. As you know, 90% of Gaza people are still staying in the tents. So we are trying to help as many as we can, and with your support, and this is an appeal to everyone in who is joining us to help Doctors Against Genocide. With them, they can help us here in Gaza.
By the way, Munder lives next to Al Shifa Hospital now, and every morning he
Yeah.
wakes me up and shows me the pictures of Al Shifa from outside and how many people are going in, how many people going out. So we're keeping tabs on this. We're keeping track of the number of patients going in. Thank you, Munder, for all the updates and for all the hard work. We have our doctoral colleague from Sudan also, Dr. Sadiq Al Mahdi. Al Sadiq, are you with us, Dr. Al Sadiq?
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I'm here.
Alaikum salam. I also thank you for joining us again. It's always good to hear from you. And to my knowledge, it seems you visited Sudan lately, or you have some updates, more updates about the situation in Sudan?
No, I haven't been to Sudan recently. I was in Sudan back in September,
Okay.
but I haven't been recently. I was recently traveling to Egypt, but not to Sudan. So I did want to share some updates. I spoke with our Darfur coordinator and was able to get some updates. I actually was hoping they would come and share these updates themselves because I think it would have been more helpful to hear directly from the people on the ground, but unfortunately, they weren't able to make it. So I did put together a little bit of a presentation.
But please,
Uh,
for next time, we're happy to hear from them whenever they are able. As you said, it's always good to hear from people on the ground. So if they could not make it this time, if they can make it next time, we'll be happy to hear from them anytime.
Inshallah, yeah, inshallah, I'm gonna try to push for them to make it next time and share the updates. Um, but in the meantime, I can just kind of share the little bit of information I have. If I can share my screen, let's see. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is just based on speaking to our Darfur coordinator and also speaking to our director and getting some of the data that we've gotten so far. So we are all aware of the escalation of the conflict that occurred in Al-Fashir back in October. As I spoke about a few weeks ago, this is where the genocide is primarily taking place in Darfur. The rest of the country is undergoing war, but when you're speaking about genocide, Darfur is really the focus. And Al-Fashir is a major zone, and which this occurred in October. Al-Fashir is in northern Darfur. So based on the numbers that we have, there's over 100,000 newly displaced individuals in the past. This data is a little dated. This is up until December 8th, but this is the information we've gotten up until December 8th, which is that over 100,000 people are newly displaced since the outbreak of the conflict in October. 75% of those internally displaced individuals were already displaced prior to that, so they've been displaced again and again after the conflict. And northern Darfur now holds the second highest number of internally displaced individuals in Sudan, and the number one spot goes to southern Darfur. So still Darfur is where most of the displacement is occurring at this point. Most of the people who've escaped Al-Fashir are still stuck in northern Darfur, so they weren't able to get that far. Tawila is one of the major areas where we're doing our work, the displacement hub. And then what we're providing is healthcare. We're providing wash and sanitary needs and food security. And then we are working, as I mentioned before, with multiple organizations, including Islamic Relief and UNICEF and Doctors Without Borders. So I got this from the displacement tracking matrix, which is what DTM stands for, that our organization has been using since the beginning of the war. And this is just showing over here is where the displacement is going. So as you can see, people are going through multiple areas outside of El Fashir right here. And some people have even been able to escape outside of Darfur. And then this is kind of the same thing, just in chart in table format. And as you can see, like most people are in northern Darfur. And then we also have people in other parts of Sudan. Like I mentioned, were able to escape El Fashir and make it all the way to the Red Sea, which is all the way to the east side of the country. And then Kassala is also the east side of the country. And then some people were able to make it to Khartoum as well. But the vast majority of people are still stuck inside Darfur and still at risk. So we have two primary healthcare centers in the area. So this is in Tawila.
Good.
And in
I'm
addition
doing
to that,
lecture training at one on this
sorry?
webinar.
I found the ad.
Someone needs to be muted. Sorry.
It's everything. Yes. Good, good. Christmas was good. You?
Can somebody mute Martha?
What? Busy. Busy here.
Martha.
Still busy here, probably.
Oh, God.
We have a whole list of things that are happening here
Okay.
tonight. Yeah.
Mesa,
It looked like it was busy in
Martha?
the bulletin.
Yeah. We did a lot of like after Christmas, and then it was after Christmas.
And here you are, in the midst of
all the
it.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a running list of after Christmas.
Um,
honey, Martha.
Mesa.
okay, thank you.
go.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
So we have two primary centers in Dali, which is in Tawila, and Dabanari is the other one. And then these are the two mobile clinics. And then we recently opened a third mobile clinic with the help of UNICEF and the Doctors Without Borders, continuing to provide essential primary healthcare needs for vulnerable, internally displaced folks. This is the numbers I've gotten from speaking with our people, is that we've reached 5,000 households. And then we've installed 8 hand washing stations. We've helped with water and sanitation needs and hygiene kits as well. Not listed on here is the food distribution as well. Oh, I guess I listed it on here. So 5,000 plus hot meals served daily, 5 kitchen sites across internally displaced camps. And then, as I mentioned prior, this is one of the biggest disasters of the current situation is malnutrition. Children are at particular risk, so we're really trying to help with that side of things. So this is sort of just kind of the plan we're going with, just using the data to drive how we go about things and using our partners and the generous donations that we get from all of our funders. There's a plan, inshallah, to expand to the rest of Darfur and to West Darfur in particular, and then help upgrade our infrastructure, inshallah, and really strengthen what we have on the ground there. And allow for expansion to further areas within the region. So this is just the information that I was able to get from speaking with people. But next time, inshallah, I'll try to hopefully get somebody from the ground to get a more hands-on depiction of everything that's going on, and just get straight from the horse's mouth exactly what's going on, inshallah. There were some personal accounts that I wanted to share, but unfortunately I wasn't able to put those in these presentations. But there are many personal accounts on the ground of individuals who fled al-Fashir, and they can be found on the SAPA website as well as the SAPA Instagram. One is of a mother named Khadija. She fled with her children from the violence. And now they're staying in Al Afad camp, which is one of our camps, and they're being taken care of there. So there are many of these personal accounts that SAPA posts on their Instagram. So make sure to follow us on Instagram and keep up with us on the website in order to learn the evolving events. Okay, and that's pretty much all I had. Hello?
Thank you, Dr.
Uh-oh.
Sadak. Thank you for doing all this work. And you know what? Every time I see a presentation that's coming from SAPA or from DAG or from any of these organizations, I think I wish we did not have to do this, because this is just like putting the band-aid on the destruction that is caused by genocidal forces wherever they are. So you know, we of course, you know, we support the communities, we support Munder, we support the people in Sudan, and we continue to advocate to end the conditions that allow this to happen, whether in Rohingya, whether in Palestine, Gaza, Darfur, Al Fasher. That is a very important part of our mission as Doctors Against Genocide, and that's why we go to Washington, D.C. every month to advocate, educate, and try to prevent these things as much as we can, even if it feels futile. It's it's work that needs to be done, and the medical community needs to do it. And I thank you for being with us.
Um, no, it's very important, and inshallah we can help to make a difference with advocacy. So I appreciate those comments, and it's really like I mentioned before, it's the people on the ground that are doing all the work. We're just kind of reporting what's going on. So I'm very thankful for them and constantly putting their life at risk. There's a couple of other things I just wanted to share. So there's another report from the Yale School of Public Health that came out in December 16th that kind of illustrates the systematic genocidal aspect of the killings that are going on. So I would like to share that with the group. I don't know if I can email that to somebody and then they can send that out. It's a report that I can't really summarize. I think it's better if like you read it yourself. It's pretty short, but I think it has a lot of useful information.
If you can email it to info@doctorsagainstgenocide.org, and
Okay.
we can make sure to email it to our list of people next week.
Put it in the chat.
Oh, you can put it in the chat here too. Yeah.
If you send it now, we can put it.
Okay. I'll try to send it in the chat, and if I can't figure it out, I will email it. And then the other thing I wanted to comment on was Dr. Nadal, I actually saw your message that you were wondering specifically about the Bilharzia outbreak in Sudan. Yeah, I've been seeing that as well on Al Jazeera and also on other networks. So Bilharzia is a parasitic infection that happens in places with poor water sanitation. It seems to be occurring in East Sudan, which is where I was back in September. At that time, the biggest issues were cholera, which is still ongoing, and dengue fever. But it seems like now there's a bilharzia outbreak as well. And then it also is occurring in the West Nile, or sorry, the White Nile. So again, along the riverbed, in places with still water is really where the issue is occurring. I did reach out to our East Sudan team to see if I can get some information about it, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. So inshallah, once I get some information from them, I'll be able to share. Everything I shared today was from the Darfur coordinator, which is the west of Sudan. So inshallah, we can get some information from the East Sudan coordinator, and I'll share that with you all, inshallah.
Great.
Yeah, we really appreciate this, Dr. Al Mahdi. And this is very concerning, unfolding situation with Bilharzia is very troublesome, and we would love to hear any updates about it, hopefully next week, whenever you can get it. Please continue to join us and give us updates, also from the people on the ground. We really want to work more with SAPA because, mashallah, it seems you have a very well, very well organized group. We have been trying to work and support a smaller organization on the ground in Sudan. They also are doing a great job. They're trying their best, but there are some problems with the logistics. I might need to discuss this with you offline if we can get some insights from Saba about the logistics of money transfers to get to the people there to help. But also in the meantime, we as DAG are happy to work and support the programs that SAPA is doing because SAPA has been doing a great job in the last 7+ years in Sudan, and the experience and the logistics you have there on the ground are great. Instead of us trying to reinvent the wheel every time, you are already there. You know how to do it. You have the people. So this is great. Thank you. Anyone has any question for Dr. Al Mahdi, please, from the group, from the panel? Any questions? Okay. So we have uh, 3 new faces, not new faces, but these are 3 people who we don't see every week. That's why we're happy to hear from them. We have Colonel Anthony Aguilar, we have Dr. John River, and we have Dr. Adla Sukkar. Who wants to go first? Anthony, I know you try to come, and sorry, we don't always get an opportunity to hear from you, but it's all yours. What's been happening? What have been up to? I know you are working. You're trying to do everything all the time. So please share with us any updates and maybe some updates about what's happening in the United States and the threat to our vulnerable communities here at home. All yours, Anthony.
I think it's important to mention more than ever that despite the attention grabbing and dramatics of the atrocities of what's happening in the United States and what the United States has been doing worldwide, particularly Venezuela, and then here in the United States with the most recent tragedy with Renee Good in Minneapolis, Minnesota with ICE, and also the threats which have now become quite legitimate in potential action of an invasion or action into Greenland. The President of the United States has ordered the commander of the Joint Special Operations Command and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, who is the most senior military ranking member over all military services. He has ordered them to start planning for an invasion of Denmark, or excuse me, of Greenland, which is an invasion of Denmark. So if you think about the magnitude of that, imagine if Cuba said, we want Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. It's not a state, but it is a territory, a protectorate. We would consider that as an act of aggression. If you look at our acts of aggression and our aggressive position in ordering our military, which can be considered an imminent threat, to invade Greenland, that is a direct threat to the sovereignty of a NATO ally. Denmark, the Kingdom of Denmark, is a NATO ally. Greenland is a territorial protectorate of the Kingdom of Denmark without question. It's not up for debate. If we were to invade Greenland and take it, we would be starting a war with a NATO ally. I can't emphasize how absolutely important that is to understand, in that the United States would then be kicked out of NATO, and we would face the entire world, to include our former NATO allies, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, on our own. This is dangerous. Despite all of these things going on, ICE, potential invasion of Greenland, the already executed invasion of Venezuela, We cannot forget about Gaza. We cannot forget about the Congo. We cannot forget about Sudan. It's not convenient, or whether it is inconvenient, to forget about these genocides in the light of what's happening domestically. Many have seen in the news, if you've been keeping up with it, what's happening in Gaza right now. The cold temperatures. Not only are Palestinians fighting the environmental impacts of not having shelter or places to live, the entirety of Gaza has been destroyed. There's nowhere to live other than in the rubble of buildings, if it's possible, or in tents, without electricity, without running water, without medical support, without vaccinations, without food. Aid going into Gaza is still restricted. And the most recent ban, with Israel banning 37 additional non-government organizations and humanitarian organizations into Gaza, to include Doctors Without Borders, or the MSF, Médecins Sans Frontières. This is devastating. Israel doesn't have to drop another bomb, and thousands will continue to die. On top of that, Israel continues to bomb. The bombardment, the indiscriminate bombing, the area saturation bombing continues. In addition to that, Israel continues to kill Palestinians for any perceived encroachment upon the yellow line. The yellow line, in where it is positioned to include the 10 meters of area in the yellow line into Palestinian territory, or free space, it's not marked on the ground other than a yellow concrete block. And if you have seen the destruction and the rubble and the debris within Gaza, it's very difficult to see in the terrain where this yellow line is. And Israelis continue to kill Palestinians if they consider it to be an encroachment upon the yellow line. The genocide continues. The murder continues. It is worse now than it was before the ceasefire, because in addition to the continued bombing and the continued killing, Israel now controls even more territory within Gaza than they did prior to October 7th and prior to the end of hostilities officially with Operation Gideon's Chariots. And the United States is completely behind it. We're complicit. And the next step for the United States, rather than focusing on ending the genocide, holding Israel accountable, holding those accountable, holding the military industrial complex accountable for their complicity in the death and destruction, the United States is doubling down on the wrong side of history in funding a $112 billion plan to rebuild Gaza with resorts in the Riviera, an industrial complex, an Elon Musk industrial technical park. Billionaire donors are casting their lots into this plan. And if that's not enough, the United States taxpayer will pay over $20 billion, because Donald Trump has pledged to pay 20% of that bill. We have commercialized genocide. We are complicit in the genocide in Gaza. And what's turning a blind eye to what's also happening in the West Bank. Just today, Israel started the construction, the deconstruction, and the destruction of Palestinian homes to rebuild, or to then build more settlements. And we turn a blind eye to it. And if you think about what's happening in the United States, there's a lot to take our minds off of what is happening in Palestine. But we can't, because when we turn back to look, the Palestinian people will be either killed or displaced or forced out of Gaza, forced out of the West Bank. and the United States and the world will be complicit in what's happened. It is a modern day Holocaust. The word Holocaust is not reserved only for what happened in World War II to the Jews. The word Holocaust is not a Jewish word. It's not a Hebrew word. It's not a Yiddish word. It is Greek, and it means death through burning. Palestinians are being killed every day. This is a modern day Holocaust. This is a genocide. And it's only getting worse since the implementation of this peace plan. We have to wake up. We have to start questioning this. We have to start holding our Congress accountable. And no one is coming to save us. Not another country to step in, not someone else to make a rational decision. We, the people, have to demand from our Congress. We have to get to DC and demand from our congressmen, like Doctors Against Genocide does every month with meetings on the Hill, multiple meetings with multiple congressmen to inform, block the bombs, call it a genocide, allow humanitarian aid in. All of these are already House resolutions that we need more congressmen to get behind. Or what will happen is already clear before us. So I encourage everyone to please stay informed, stay focused on Gaza, stay focused on the Congo, stay focused on the Sudan. Do not turn a blind eye despite what's happening domestically. Because if we do, it'll be too late, and we cannot turn back history. And we're at a point to where if it continues, there won't be anything to stand for anymore. We have to make a stand now.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Thank you for your moral clarity and your strong voice. And, you just see things as they are and you say them as they are. So we always appreciate you and appreciate your solidarity and your advocacy. And hope to see you soon on the Hill. I'm sure we will find a time when we go together soon. So thank you, and a lot of people appreciate you, and I'm hearing from the messages how much your words mean to people. Just being able to say the truth these days is an act of heroism. So we appreciate you and we thank you. We do have a student from North California, Jamie, who is here with us and who can talk to us about a specific situation that is happening in California related to ICE. And this is Jamie is a fourth year medical student who is hopefully going to be an emergency medicine doctor. And he is an organizer with for criminal justice. And he is currently working with Unidos, Minnesota. And Jamie, please fill the gaps for your introduction, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. One quick correction. I am calling from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I am in Minneapolis and live there in Minnesota. I'm a fourth year medical student. I've been working with a group called Unidos Minnesota, which is an immigrant rights organization for the past year now to prepare our hospitals and our healthcare workers for doing their job in the presence of ICE. For anyone watching the news, Minneapolis has had a very crazy week. So much has been going on, and I'm just going to talk today about what's been going on the healthcare side of things. Just to get started, I wanted to just really give I feel honored to speak in this group. We've had so much support and solidarity, and we found that actually all of the work that we've been able to do to prepare domestically in our city has actually largely come from the network and the work that has been done by Doctors Against Genocide, doctors who are organizing around Gaza here in the United States and internationally. And I don't think that's surprising at all. But I just wanted to speak to that really quickly and say that the important work that you all have been doing for much longer than we have been in Minneapolis is what we're kind of standing on top of right now, and also what we're inspired by and really pulling from during this very challenging, I'd say, critical crisis that we're in. So for folks that are unaware, I think I'll maybe just get started with what happened, and then we could go into some details of kind of like the legal loopholes, like the challenges we're facing with administration and local politicians, and then maybe if there's time for like any Q&A, I'd be happy to answer if that's a possibility. Essentially, our big a level 1 safety net hospital trauma center, Hennepin County Medical Center, which is a large hospital in the Minneapolis that takes care of vulnerable populations, many immigrant populations, has had 2 unlawful occupations by ICE forces in the past week. The first one occurred over New Year's, in which ICE officers forced their way into the emergency department, proclaiming that they had a right to have access to a patient who proclaiming they had a right to have access to a patient to whom they had previously arrested. It was the story is it was a brutal arrest. This patient has long-term chronic problems. I don't want to break HIPAA at all, but the level at which they're operating in the community, they were going into a long-term care facility and essentially knocked out some important life support that was supporting this patient while they were attempting to arrest them. So this patient came to the hospital, and unfortunately, the workers at the facility gave ICE access to the patient without any kind of valid paperwork. Once the officers were in, they were allowed to stay for a couple days. We got in touch with our local politicians. The way we found out, actually, as a kind of watchdog immigrant rights organization, was through networks that we've been building. So we've done trainings for the last year. We've trained over 300 workers just in Minneapolis on what their rights are and what their patient rights are in a healthcare setting. So we had people who had been to our trainings who were in the facility and who were messaging us saying that ICE was present unlawfully. So we got a hold of our elected officials and they started working on it. Unfortunately, the hospital administration at first was lying to the elected officials, saying that ICE was not present in the facility. So that complicated things. However, ultimately, the elected official was able to make it in there and confirm that there was no lawful orders, and then remove the ICE agents. So that was a really successful story. That was over New Year's. We kind of worked towards a press conference and reported everything that happened and started working with the hospital to try to tighten things up. However, unfortunately, on Thursday evening, we got reports again that ICE had entered the facility. And this time, once again, they were let in without any kind of legitimate judicial warrant. Again, they were there because they had brutalized an individual during an arrest that ultimately put them into a critical condition. When they arrived, they were let in, and this time we found out within 5-10 minutes of their arrival, and we contacted our elected officials. They sent their lawyer in, and they also sent the elected officials and themselves, and they confirmed once again no judicial warrant, no lawful ability for the officers to continue to be there. However, this time, upon being asked to leave, the ICE officers have refused to leave the facility. Security has asked them to leave the facility, and they have refused again. And then also on top of that, our county sheriff has been requested to remove them from the facility, and the county sheriff is refusing that request. Because ultimately,
again, who's refusing? The sheriff is refusing, or ICE is refusing?
ICE is refusing to leave, and the sheriff is refusing to come and remove them.
So the only one who has the authority to remove them is the sheriff?
Yeah.
We just want to understand this because we need to know this for our own, communities too.
So So the officials themselves, the politicians, the lawyers have the authority to tell them to leave. And they're refusing that lawful order. So now, because these officers are armed, the security at the facility are unwilling to put hands on them. And at this point, the place that we are at is that we are needing a more powerful militarized force, whether it be the sheriff or the local police department, to come in and remove ICE from the facility. And the sheriff has refused to do so. Unclear why. I think that it's kind of similar. The conversation in Minneapolis generally right now is just like local police forces are unwilling to engage, I guess, like in a military way with the ICE officers because of fear of larger escalation in the urban space. So what we're left with is a complete standstill in that no one's really willing to do anything and enforce the law that ICE is breaking. In the meantime, now that ICE has been allowed in the hospital and they've been admitted, and they've also seen that we are not going to do anything about it, they've started breaking other rules as well. They're refusing to leave the patient's bedside during sensitive exams or during conversations, including HIP information. They've cuffed the patient to the bed. They've been threatening and hostile towards staff. As I mentioned, they're heavily armed. There was an explosive argument yesterday between a nurse and the ICE officers. I think like the level of crisis and chaos, I think I can't undermine. I've had multiple conversations with the patients, direct caregivers calling me in tears after shifts. It appears that they're essentially unable to give orders to the ICE agents. One important clarifying factor here is it has depended on which ICE agents are present. It sounds like they switch out every 4 hours. Some are more reasonable than others. So like I think that's something to keep in mind, especially when this happens at your facility, in that, a shift change might allow you, let's say they're not letting you do something that's important for some kind of a procedure, or something that the patient needs. A shift change might allow you some space to work. So anyway, we're in a very impossible spot right now. We're working on getting this news reported. It's challenging as healthcare workers are unable to go on the record without fear of getting retaliated or fired. But we're working with some national press currently. But I think the main message for this group is that if this can happen in Minneapolis, it can happen wherever you're working. I think that I'm honored to speak to a group like this because I think this is a group that's been handling and thinking about militarized operations in the hospital for much longer than everyone else in the United States has been. People who thought that it isn't something that could happen. But the point is that once they're in the facility, you cannot remove them. So it's very important that if you're allowing them into the facility, you're doing that with strict boundaries, a very strong legal policy guideline that's guiding those boundaries, and ensuring that everyone in the facility is on board. What we've been reported is that one reason why the ICE officers have been able to get in so easily twice is because the security officers have been put in charge of verifying the warrant and guarding the door. And it's our understanding that some of the security officers are, let's just say, perhaps on the same page as the ICE officers. They've been reported they've been taking them around the facility, letting them into staff lounges, getting them free food. So it's the type of thing where you have to critically assess your facilities. And unfortunately, at least here in the Midwest, particularly like spaces with critical care, level 1 trauma centers, acute care spaces tend to lean more conservative, and also tend to have very robust relationships with law enforcement. We've generally been in our trainings trying to couple the ICE situation with also ongoing situations we've had with local law enforcement. We don't think that there's really much of a difference between ICE officers denying someone care due to their immigration status versus a local law enforcement officer marginalizing, let's just say, for example, our Black community, as they have for years, and denying them good health care due to whether it's accusations of criminality, accusations of noncompliance. So we're using this opportunity to couple these situations in our trainings and in our rhetoric, because we do really think that they're what has made Hennepin County Medical Center so vulnerable to ICE is really their prior relationship, an inappropriate relationship with law enforcement for many years in the community. I think I'm going to go ahead and slow down. I'm seeing some things pop up in the chat. I think it's important that if folks have questions, clarifying questions about best practices, I think there's some folks here from California who could put their model policy perhaps in the chat currently, because that's what we're working off of right now as well. But yeah, any questions about anything I've been talking about?
Yeah. Hold on, please. Thank you, Jamie, for sharing this. This is very important. So the question is, I think maybe we need Anthony and John to help us with this, or anyone who has more detail about the ICE operations. Usually, the some police or some local police or state, security departments, they have agreements with ICE that they are bound to cooperate with ICE and allow them in. I'm not sure if this is in all states or maybe it's different depending on the state. The other one is, I know the AMA and all medical organizations, societies have been silent on genocides in Gaza and other places. But for the situation with ICE, I don't think they have an excuse to be silent on, and maybe they are a group that we need to mobilize and try to get them on board and add all the medical societies' voice to add more pressure on the politicians and local police and security authorities to maybe not allow ICE, especially in medical spaces. What do you think?
I can address Maryland a little bit, not medical facilities in particular, because I haven't delved that deeply yet, but for other spaces, educational spaces, public spaces, there are very clear laws that Jamie has, I think, alluded to that go across the country. But ICE, in order to enter a private space, has to have a judicial warrant. And they have administrative warrants that they bring that look like judicial warrants, and you have to educate people to know what to look for. It has to have a judge's signature and so forth. And you do not have to allow them into any space. It's very disconcerting to hear Jamie saying, that the security guards, and Jamie, I'm guessing they're armed security guards. Yeah. Once people pick up a gun and think that's the way to solve any problem, they're kind of in the same headspace, which is the kind of thinking that leads to genocide. And, Jamie said that armed sheriffs aren't willing to confrontationally armed. The worst imaginable scenario I can think of would be a civil war where one set of armed actors is actually using violence against another set of armed actors. I mean, if our country decides to go that way, we'll end up like Gaza sooner or later, or Afghanistan. No, we don't really want to do that. What's more powerful than any violence is legitimacy. What the population thinks is legitimate. And that's what we have to press constantly for humanity, for the rule of law. Law is much more important than the violent enforcement of it. If people think the law is being broken, then they will stand up for it. It's the biggest problem we face is people convincing that anybody who breaks the law deserves to be imprisoned, punished, genocided. And I know in Maryland here, I play a protective role in, it's totally unarmed, with locking doors in a hospital. I would hope that they would not allow ICE agents in without that judicial warrant, but that requires your administration to be totally on board with the protection of its citizens.
Yep. I could jump in really quick. It's been a very big challenge here from the beginning. It's 10 months ago, I was formally disciplined at this hospital for handing out Know Your Rights information regarding ICE. And what they claimed, and I bring this up because there's this important concept that's been happening here that I imagine is happening around the country. They claimed that it was so essential for the hospital's safety from the administration. They didn't want the administration to go after them, that they didn't want anyone thinking that they were opposed to the administration. And this is a concept called anticipated obedience. It's this hypothetical situation that hasn't happened yet. And pretty soon what that led to was, we're worried they're going to take away our funding. So we don't want to see them oppose them. They're going to take it away anyway, right? And then now it's becoming, well, we don't want to create a bigger escalation in the healthcare setting, so we're not going to remove them. I largely think ICE is playing chicken in this situation, for lack of professional terminology. But they're waiting to see what we're going to do, and they're going to take everything they can up to the point of enforcement of law. And I think that, I don't think this is a Minnesota cultural issue. I think people in Minnesota are more passive than other places. However, I think that this has been largely what has created the problem, and now it's largely what's continuing to reinforce the problem. So I think, John, I really appreciate you bringing that up.
So can I add?
Hold on, Maribeth. You have your hands up? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, so even back in 2018, I'd actually started working on this on my own, just went to this State of Women's Health of Pennsylvania and learned that at least a third of pregnant people in Pennsylvania were not accessing prenatal care, which rivals sort of that of exploited nations, third world, as some would call it. So why were so many pregnant people in Pennsylvania not accessing prenatal care? And then it turns into bigger health issues, right? When they're delivering in ERs. And a lot of it was related to immigration status, documentation, and the fear of leaving your home or your immediate neighborhood to access medical care in the first place. And so then I got to thinking about how when I was in the Army, we were trained that you don't conduct operations, you're not supposed to, in religious facilities or hospitals. And there are caveats, but overall, religious facilities and healthcare facilities. So then I happened to run into the head of the Department of Health and Human Services for Pennsylvania at a conference. Sit down. Hey, do you know that this is going on in Philly, right? Just innocent med student. Hey. And because I happen to be married to an attorney, I gave him the assignment to look up what legal provisions exist in Pennsylvania to protect hospitals, to make them designated sanctuary zones where federal officers cannot engage in federal operations like this. Let's talk about it like that, because you have state officials and you have federal officials, and overall, for the most part, federal officials outrank state level officials on many areas. So I'm like, hey, let's get some legal work in so that these hospitals are protected spaces, so that people can access prenatal care, so that hospital staff are empowered to say, no, you're not allowed in here, to chase down somebody. And for a while, Pennsylvania, or at least Philadelphia, had put some protections in place like that. However, now they got threatened with cutting funding from federal sources. So now hospitals, they manipulate the system through money, even if not by direct instrument of power, of force. They use financial instruments of power that now what protections we had in place no longer exist.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Yeah, it's very, very concerning, and it's the people always lose in this situation, and then the blame is always not on the perpetrators, but on the victims, as we have seen in Minnesota, and as we will see over and over again. So I still think that we should mobilize within our medical communities and medical institutions. This is not something that we can ignore. And we will find a mechanism. Jamie, thank you for joining us. And we would love to have you back for more updates. And let's try to find mechanism that we can put pressure and advocate against this violation of the rights of our people in the United States together. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. There's some folks from California on the call, and they have a really good policy. They've like done the work to get like a policy that I know maybe try to get it out to everyone. And I think that if we would, that's been the most powerful thing for us. And I think if everyone around the country has that, and then can start advocating to get that implemented. But yeah, thank you, everyone. I'll come back and give updates.
Great. Adla?
Hi, everybody. So just sort of corollary to this, I mean, I think that maybe part of the power of DAG and maybe why we're maybe threatening to powers that be is because we've been connecting all these dots for a really, really long time. I think a lot of us have spoken about, when we were talking even in February about how this day was coming with respect to ICE coming into hospitals and how all of this is connected. With respect to free speech, we talked about that day how one of our colleagues was thrown out of the Senate building for, speech, healthcare speech. And then, we just talked about how we saw this day coming. And I think that maybe people don't have the imagination to understand that this was coming. And so I appreciate Jamie's comments talking about how we've been sitting in this space for a while, understanding that this day was coming, and we've been trying to mobilize people along those lines. It's a little bit of a parallel topic, but I did want to mention there was a really interesting study that came out of the Lancet not that long ago, which documented a causal relationship between sanctions and blockade on child mortality in several countries around the world. And it was primarily US sanctions, EU sanctions, and to a lesser degree, some of the UN sanctions. And it has to do with the type of sanctions, is the punitive nature of US sanctions and blockade. And it specifically talks about, the healthcare effects on those populations. And part of that panel included speakers from Venezuela, Nicaragua, Palestine, and actually Cuba. And we had to get a video from Cuba because pre-recorded video because they were not allowed to access the platform, in part because of blockade and sanction issues. But they talked to like the absolute decimation of the oncologic care within Cuba, and the huge rise in preventable oncologic death due to lack of access to standard of care, chemos, and things of that nature. But one of the things that kind of stood out to me and kind of made me connect some dots here was actually the speaker from Nicaragua. She's deaf in one ear, and it was from having untreated ear infection as a child because her mother could not access antibiotics, in part because of sanction and blockade. And so I'm connecting the dots with the fact that we just saw some data coming out of Gaza talking about the incidence of partial or complete deafness is now at least 35,000 people. I think that's probably a gross underestimate. And that's not even inclusive of the number of people that have probably partial or complete deafness as a result of untreated infection. That's just simply from bombing campaigns. And so I'm just sort of mentioning that because, we have to also, what we've been talking about, and maybe what's not as flashy or as, headline grabbing, is the morbidity that we're going to see that are going to have long-term consequences. It's obviously the amputations, It's obviously the lack of rehabilitation, the sores, the infections, everything like that. But it's also things like deafness. I saw a video just yesterday. I'm a pulmonologist, and we've already heard testimonies from colleagues about the reuse of ventilator tubing and all these sorts of things with respect to incidents of ventilator-associated pneumonias and these multi-drug resistant infections. We talk about the imperial boomerang. We're about to have the healthcare boomerang. Like let's bring it. We're about to see all these multi-drug resistant infections if they can make their way out of Gaza. But anyway, I saw a video of a man who was trying to give a nebulizer treatment to his loved one, and he had put together a bicycle pump hooked up to nebulizer kit equipment. And so on the one hand, you have to applaud the ingenuity, the absolute unwillingness to give up, right? And then you see that stuff and you're just like, where the hell are our colleagues in all of this? Where is their outrage? Where is the humanity in all of this? So I was like, half of me was like, wow. And half of me was like, I'm just so disgusted. I'm like sitting in this really disgusted space, so there's that, and I just think that it's just, I think, we can only expect so much ingenuity and so much resilience. I mean, this is a man-made genocide. We're watching people die of completely preventable infection, disease, all these sorts of things. And that's not just obviously exclusive to Gaza. That is happening all over the place. And I think that, more and more of us are connecting the dots outside of the medical space. And that is why things are going to get worse. They're going to get worse before they get better, because this is potently coming at the power that is in place when the people start to understand. And when they start to understand that ICE and IDF, blocking ambulances, where have we seen that before, right? When you prevent access to deliver ambulance care, or to allow a medical provider on the ground who was trying to provide assistance to Renee Good, they would not allow the physician, self-identified physician within the neighborhood, to try and stem bleeding, stating that they had medics on the way. Those medics were 15 minutes before they got there, and then they had to approach on foot because the ICE cars were blocking access of the ambulances. Okay. And then because they couldn't get a stretcher in, they carried this poor woman out like as a bystander quoted, a sack of potatoes. Okay. So, we've been saying from the beginning, what you allow to happen in Gaza, where you allow to happen in the around the world, that will come back. Okay. We were talking about Minnesota. We were talking about how this is going to happen. And we had the mental capacity to understand that there is so much evil that has power. Okay. And us understanding this is incredibly dangerous to the powers that be. So there's that. And then I think, something that was like a threshold, like a breaking of a wall. And I'm going to use a phrase that a colleague that I saw online said, that what's happened with Renee Good, because let's be frank, there have been plenty of brown and Black people who have died from ICE and ICE custody, from lack of access to medical care, from injuries that went unaddressed, either while being arrested or within detention, those sorts of things. But what they called it, the complexion of protection, okay, the whiteness of Renee Good didn't save her, right? And I think that a lot of people in this country, have been sitting in the space of, well, I'm not from Palestine, I'm not from Sudan, I'm not from Congo, I'm not Uyghur, I'm not, etc. It's not going to affect me. And we've been saying all along, you cannot expect that you can support, or at least not stand up against, policies that are happening on, at the behest of your country, where you are destroying nations with your bombs and with your military industrial complex, and destroying people, their lives, their children, their sense of safety, and expect for it not to come back. Of course it's going to come back. And there are direct relationships between the trainings of the people that are perpetrating this on US soil and the people that have been doing this around the world. So I mean, I apologize if I'm sort of like, I'm just sort of like kind of disgusted. It's been a really rough week for, I think, it's been rough for years, decades, but it's been really hard the last couple of years. And I think in particular this last week, I saw somebody on another clip, and this is what's scary to me. And this is why what's happening with ICE is a healthcare emergency. Okay, it's a healthcare emergency from the perspective of what Jamie described about ICE going into hospitals, blocking care, violation of HIPAA, all these sorts of things. But it's an issue with respect to the ambulance not being able to provide and deliver medical care. But beyond that, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Oh yeah, I saw a guy on TV, or excuse me, on a clip just today saying, "Okay, fine. Guess what? If ICE comes, they fired the first shot. That's what the Second Amendment is for." They're talking about coming back with their own weapons at these interactions with ICE and ready to shoot back. This is terrifying.
Yeah, that's the civil war John mentioned. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and to what end? So that we can declare
Yeah.
martial law and not have elections? I mean, come on, people. Like, connect the dots. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's where
Thank
I'm
you.
at.
Thank you, Adla. Actually, thank you for connecting all these dots. And I think Anthony also mentioned about the ICE in one of his videos about the ICE training with the IDF and the same tactics and, depriving these victims from first aid, from resuscitation until they die. They leave them bleed to death. We have been seeing this with Israel all along. And I know as doctors and healthcare workers, we have the moral and ethical and professional right and duty to protect our patients. But do we really also have the legal right? Do we, as healthcare workers, have the legal right and duty to protect those patients? I think as doctors, usually we don't push for laws as maybe lawyers or as military or security institutions do. I really think we and DAG and our supporters, we should push for this, that the doctors, the healthcare workers should obtain the legal right and duty to protect the patients. I don't know who knows more about this. Maybe we need to have a legal advice on this. And I do not expect our societies, AMA, all these people to push more for this. We need maybe to be the ones to lead this effort, that as healthcare workers, we are legally, entitled to protect our patients, our communities, and to get, rid of ICE and not get ICE in our spaces. This is something maybe we need to brainstorm more, talk to, attorneys about this. I don't know if anyone else. Dr. Fitzgerald, are you there? Fitzgerald, doctor from New York, maybe you know more about this. Are you still there, Dr. Fitzgerald? Or John?
Yeah,
John,
while we're waiting
yes,
for Dr.
go ahead.
Fitzgerald, let me just add, this week, for one reason, I ended up at the Battle of Antietam. It was fought in 1861 when Americans proved that if they feel so led, they, in 1861, fought for 12 hours, killing or maiming each other at a rate of 2,000 people per hour for 12 straight hours. That's what the battlefield is about. So we know that's in our capability, and hopefully we can grow beyond this. As far as when you say we have the legal right, I think more important than the strictly legal written in the law is what's behind law is legitimization. And that I think we could claim all the time. I don't know if you're familiar with the Broad Street Pump Award that's given to doctors, but there was a time in England when there was a cholera outbreak or a typhoid outbreak. And they didn't know where it was coming from, but people were sick all the time. And it was doctors that investigated until they found it was coming from contaminated water at the Broad Street, the pump on Broad Street. And they took that into their hand and stopped it and stopped the whole epidemic. That's legitimacy. And we always have that. We have that respect because we know people care. People know that we care for all the things that DAG has been pushing. So yes, it's important to know the strictly legal thing, but the legitimacy is what we do have. We cannot let that go. And just like Atlas said, and actually Anthony said it as well. These people that are trying to dominate the world are pushing. Everything they do is another position where they're probing to see how much they can get away with. And that's why this Wednesday, as we're pushing for the end of all these genocides, is World Beyond War will be there pushing on the Venezuela thing in particular, because if there's not enough public outcry about stopping what we're doing in Venezuela, the people in charge have already promised they're going to do this to Cuba, they're going to do this to Colombia, and he's already given full permission to Netanyahu to attack Iran. And those are only going to happen if there's no public outcry against Venezuela. So World Beyond War will be concentrating on that. And I want to invite everybody. I'll work with Iman on this, but let's all get together from various peace groups on Wednesday. A lot of people will be converging and at least meet each other for a brief period of time and get a picture while we go about our very, very important work of getting Congress primarily at the bottom is to stop funding this stuff. You know, ICE is only as powerful as they are because they allotted $45 billion. You can hire a lot of people and override a lot of people's consciousness, people who need jobs or people who can't get any other job to take those jobs. It's the money. Now, Trump wants to go from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion defense budget, a war budget. Thank God he's finally being honest. It's a war budget. And if that goes through, you just pay too many people to do the wrong thing. It's funding ultimately that funds every genocide in the world. And it's a belief that war is necessary that makes genocide possible, because genocides only happen in the presence of armies.
We need to remind ourselves that this is an election year, and we need to punish the politicians who support, these genocides, these crimes, these aggressions against our constitutional rights and human rights. And John, please try to connect with Dania, Iman, and us to prepare the demands. We're going to DC this coming week, Wednesday. So maybe we can brainstorm, to come up with an agreed upon list of demands, including the situation here at home with ICE, so we can have a more comprehensive ask. And I know you're coming with the anti-war group, so maybe we can have a unified unified list of demands. Yeah, that would be great. I think Dr. Fitzgerald is not available. Are you still there, Dr. Fitzgerald? Maybe he's doing a surgery too. But
And
for the meantime,
time that we meet together with the anti-war group.
yes, please. Yeah, let's connect with. If we can even connect with them before, maybe we can have a quick, Zoom meeting tomorrow, if we can, or Wednesday or Tuesday. They can. Some of them can join us Tuesday at Bawadi at the restaurant if you can, John.
That's
So
the
we
one
can
in Virginia?
brainstorm together.
Yeah, for dinner. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, the night before. But for the meantime, we can come back and talk about the DC Hill with Dania and Iman. For the meantime, let's go to our team in Congo with Philippe from Goma to give us some updates about their work. They are amazing. They're doing amazing work. The teams in Congo are one of the most effective, most organized teams. We're really proud of them, proud of their work. Felipe, if you are here, you or Alvis, please join us. Give us updates. I have Alvis here too. So go ahead, Philip. How do you say
Hello,
your name the
everyone.
right way? Felipe or Philippe?
Philippe, that is in French, it should be pronounced Philippe. Then in English, it
What
is
do you want
Philip.
us to call you? I don't care about French or English. What do you want?
Oh,
What's
it's
the
fine,
best
it's
way?
fine. I
How
just
do you want
get
to?
Philip would be better.
Philip, okay.
Philip would be
They will
better
call you
and easy
Philip.
for
Yeah.
everyone.
We don't go with the
Yeah,
colonials
thank you so
option. We
much,
go with
doctor.
what you want.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you for this opportunity. Once again, I greet you all. It is a pleasure for me to be here this evening to give a report. Actually, Goma, right now it's night. I am currently in Goma town in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. As you know, we've been undergoing a war since almost 3 decades now, and people have been fighting. So people are fleeing from their regions and villages to go in cities where they live in displacement camps. And for us, through the partnership with Doctors Against Genocide, we managed to go to their rescue, to help them as we can. With a partnership with a local hospital called Centro Medical Afya Yetu. Afya Yetu, that is Kiswahili, meaning our health. So together with the nurses and the doctors from the hospital, we can move to different villages and displacement camps where we go with medicines, we go with the foods, as you could see with the videos that has been shared to doctors by Hadija. We go with a lot of medicines to help these people because many are dying in their houses just because of things like malaria. And recently, a new city has been occupied by rebels, and hundreds of thousands of people are fleeing again to other countries, nearby countries like the Republic of Burundi, and others are coming again in Goma. So we still have a lot of work. There are so many people in need, but we cannot reach all of them at the same time. But with your partnership and support, with the donation of each and everybody, we can see how to manage this. We have pregnant women, we have children who are suffering from severe malnutrition, and all of these need our help because we cannot manage to see these kids dying, yet we have a way to save them. And together with our support, we believe their lives can be saved. So all this work is done through your support. We cannot manage it by ourselves, but once again, we share here our gratitude for everything. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you. Should we share some of the videos?
Yeah, Philippe, it's really, your work is so amazing and so incredible. So thank you. Thank you for being on the ground.
Thank you so much.
Can we share some of the videos and the pictures from their work, if you don't mind?
From Philippe or
Yeah,
from
it's in the group.
Elvis is here too.
Elvis, yeah. Go ahead.
Greetings to everyone, and once again, has been a pleasure to be part of this network, this webinar. It has been a plus to the work that we have been doing on the ground. I'm Elvis. I'm part of the Ubuntu DRC, a local grassroots organization that support young girls who are victims of sexual assault and then become mothers. And we support them with shelter, giving them a chance to start a new life. Philippe has just said most of the things that are happening in the region. Just coming back from a hospital right now. I'm in Goma. What we do is we try to support the girls that we have with us at the house with the healthcare and other issues that they may face. As some people may know, we've got three right now. We've got three emergency cases, and I can tell you that with the support of that, we are able to start treating those children. And we went tonight to the hospital to prepare for the surgery of one of our babies. This poor baby was born with a mass on the head, and this baby was born on the 17th of December. Just a week ago, we were called to go and help because there is no one who was there to support the baby. This is the second baby. This baby will get, it is booked for tomorrow 8 for the surgery, and that is where we are coming from. We went to be with to drop them at the hospital and also to be with the young girl. The mom, she's 18. She was a victim of sexual assault. And the result was the pregnancy. She has been with us for about 4 months. When we met the young lady, the baby wasn't with the right way to go through surgery. So we had to take the child at home and the mother so that we can feed both of them. And as you know, we are feeding them with the support of DAG that is providing food, medication, and other material that the girls may need. In terms of the update, the work that we are doing, definitely The situation in Burundi is getting very, very worse. When we talk about Burundi here, we are talking about the displaced, the refugee, the Congolese refugees who are in the camps. We are seeing exactly what is happening, and people need help. The type of work that Philippe and the team are doing right now in remote places, in remote areas of the town of Goma, is needed in Uvira too. They've got the camp that I personally visited had 80,000 people, and there is no support at all. There is no food for the people. There is no clinic. There is no shelter. There is nothing. And you've got about 80,000 people who are crying every single day. The report that we had, the last report after our visit was in space of a week, 100 people died of illnesses, and is continuing, and there is no support yet. So please, Congo may not be trending at the moment, but a lot of Congolese people are getting unalived every single day. And if we don't have your support, because it is basically your support that is allowing us to continue supporting the Congolese people who are struggling. We are in a region that is under control of the rebels, and there is no support that we are getting from either the UN, the rebels who are controlling the town. So it is to the local organization, the local people, and organization that as DAG that is supporting what we have been doing. We've got a lot of things that we are starting this week. As I mentioned in the previous webinar, the girls are starting school. Two of them are going to the normal school. The 13 years old and the 16 years old are going back to the normal school, and the rest will be taking some professional course, learning how to sew, learning how to cook, learning. There is one who want to become a chef, and we want to send all of them to school. So that is the plan that we have. That is the update in terms of the work that Ubuntu is doing at the moment. Once again, thanks to everyone who has been supporting either the young girls victim of the sexual assault that we are supporting, also the orphan that we have at Ubuntu One, who are 33, and all are getting the support from you and from the donors. Thank you very much. I hope that we will be back again next week with more update on the situation that is happening on the ground.
Much appreciated.
And you know, we don't talk about politics because it's not safe for us here or for any volunteer, because we are in a red zone. If Philip start talking about politics or anything that is happening on the ground, that is the end of the story for us. But there are a lot of things that are happening. We are losing a lot of people. We are getting a lot of victims of sexual assault, young people, boys, girls are disappearing. Those are the reality that we are living in the region. And we try not to get into that path, because we have to support our people. And the best way to support them is to do what we are doing at this point, the humanitarian work. Thank you.
Thank you, Elvis, and thank you, Philip. And please don't thank us. We are actually thanking you, thankful for you, grateful for you for giving us the opportunity to help our people in Goma. And Goma and Congo is always trending. Every human being, every human life is always trending. This is how we work in DAG. Every human life is worth every effort that all of us can do to protect every life, wherever it is, in Gaza, in Congo, in Sudan, Rohingya. So thank you for giving us the opportunity. We are really proud of you, proud of your work. And please, our colleagues, spread the word and support our campaign to support our people in Congo. You can go on our website. There is the donation link. You can pick any campaign. You can pick the campaign in Congo also. It's there. Your help is much appreciated, and it does make a difference. Every help, every donation, every speaking up for these victims does make a difference. So thank you, Elvis and Philip. Karama, do you want to speak about the calendar now? Then
Yes.
we can talk about the DC visit when Iman is back.
Yeah, so we do have Doctors Against Genocide calendar. This year, the calendar is exceptionally beautiful, even though genocide is never beautiful. But the artist is a Palestinian artist, Ahmed Al Khalidi. He is a Palestinian artist from Jerusalem. He lives in Australia, and he put his heart into the art that is that forms the calendar. So this is the website. Can you see it?
Yes, yes.
And this is the calendar. It has poems from Palestinian poets, and the calendar is a combination of a collage, pictures, collages that are from events in Gaza, events in Sudan, events in Congo, and it has beautiful art that's eminently frameable. This year, it's definitely frameable because the calendar is larger than last year calendar, and the quality of the images is quite good. So I encourage you to purchase it. It's a good way to. It's a conversation starter. It's a good way to spread the word in with beauty and art, and you can also hang it as art in your room or wherever you are. So I'll put the link for it in the chat, and yeah, that's it for the calendar. You're muted.
Can you stop sharing so we see who's next on the list, please?
Hold on.
Okay. I'm trying to hear from our colleagues in Jenin. Dr. Khalid. Okay, Dr. Khalid, are you there? So Dr.
Yes,
Khalid is there.
yes, I am here.
And Maisa Al-Ser, they're running the Al-Shifa Hospital in Jenin and the West Bank. The situation there, as you all know, there's attack on the civilians in the West Bank, on the hospitals, on refugee camps. There is an ethnic cleansing campaign going on. Maybe it is not as drastic as the situation in Gaza, but nonetheless, it's going on at a different speed, but the intention is the same, to get rid of the people. That's why we really need to keep supporting. That's why we need to help support the communities there, so we can help them stay and be resilient and increase the chances that they defy these policies intended for them to push them out of their camps, of their towns, of their cities, and their hospitals. So, Doctor, are you there, Dr. Khalid?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Do you want to turn on your camera or no?
Yes, of course. Because I'm driving, I want to stop the
Yeah,
car.
okay. We'll start with Maisa, with your mother first, and once you're safe, once you park the car, you can join us. تفضلي أخت ميسة، تفضلي.
مرحبا، كيف الحال؟
أهلين.
والله أنا كل أحد بقول إن شاء الله الأحد القادم يكون أحسن، بس الوضع عم بيزيد سوء للأسف يعني. كل أسبوع عم بيزيد تعقيد وعم بيزيد سوء. الوضع في جنين كتير صعب. الجيش في البلد. كل أسبوع بنقول يمكن الأسبوع القادم الجيش ينسحب من جنين، لكن لا، بفاجئوا الناس بالسوق، بفاجئوا الناس بكل مكان يعني.
Okay.
يعني
خلينا أترجم.
تفضل.
So, Sister Maisa is the director of Al Shifa Hospital in Jenin. It's right there in front of the Jenin refugee camp. She's saying that every Sunday. She hopes that the things will get better next Sunday, and unfortunately, the Israeli forces, the genocidal forces, keep surprising them that things are getting worse every time, every week, rather than better. More settlers, more soldiers encroaching on the lives of people and making it harder and harder every week. تفضلي.
مشكلتنا احنا المستشفى موقع المستشفى قريب كتير من مخيم جنين، فهذا بخلي انه كل فترة بيكون الجيش مثلا في الموقع بيكون قريب من المخيم، فبيمنع وصول الناس لعنا للمستشفى. كتير في مثلا نساء بتيجي بدها تولد بدهم يعملوا عمليات بيرجعوهم وبروحوا لأماكن تانية، فهذا بيعمل يعني كتير خلل عنا اقتصاديا بالمستشفى. فللأسف يعني من يومين كان عنا 4 عمليات للأسف التغوا لأنه في جيش كانوا واقفين باب المستشفى فما قدروا المرضى يدخلوا على المستشفى.
So this hospital, Al Shifa, it's right there in front of the Jenin refugee camp. And because of that proximity, the soldiers, the Israeli genocidal forces are there all the time, blocking the entrance to the hospital, blocking even patients from going in the hospital, people who need treatment. And the last week, 4 people were scheduled to have surgery at the hospital. They were forced to cancel them because the soldiers would not allow the patients to get into the hospital, blocking the entrance of the hospital and making their ability to provide care for people almost impossible. تفضلي.
اتضررنا كتير، اتضرر المستشفى كتير نتيجة الجرافات اللي بتمرق للمخيم، البنية التحتية، خلل صار بالمي، خلل صار بالكهرباء بموجب الموقع اللي احنا فيه. شو ما بصير بالمخيم بصير ضرر كتير في المستشفى للأسف.
And it's not just the soldiers, they also bring their bulldozers that destroy the infrastructure, the civilian structure, the streets, the water systems, the sewage systems, which makes it even harder and harder for the civilians there and for the hospital itself. They've been having problems with, water supply in the hospital. And as we said earlier, the access to the hospital due to these bulldozers coming in. And every time they try to rebuild the streets, rebuild the water systems, the soldiers and the bulldozers come back and destroy it again. تفضلي.
احنا موجودين، المستشفى بعيل 40 عائلة بموظفينها من رجال من تمريض من إداريين من عمال نظافة، كلهم موجودين في المستشفى. ولحد هلأ احنا منحارب إن نضلنا موجودين ونضلنا فاتحين ونخدم في مدينة جنين.
So despite all these difficulties, the employees there and the management at the hospital are trying their best to stay open. They have at least 40 employees who are working there. These people and the hospital itself need support to stay open, to be able to provide care for those who need their care. But the soldiers are making it harder for them. Maisa is the director, and her son, Dr. Khalid, is a doctor here in the U.S. But he's also managing the situation in the hospital remotely from here and from Ohio. They are trying their best to stay open, but things are getting harder and harder. They need support. They need donations. I think they lost some of their equipment, the anesthesia equipment, because of the loss in the power that the Israeli forces keep imposing on them. And some of these machines are very sensitive. When you keep turning the power on and off, on and off, they end up going bad. And it seems they lost their last anesthesia machine I think you mentioned that last week. So they do need help to fund to fix that machine or replace that machine. Dr. Khalid might talk more. Dr. Khalid, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Give us more details, please. You want to share with us more details about the situation in the hospital there?
Yes. Hello to everyone. Well, the situation in Jenin now, the IDF soldiers, they live in Jenin. Before the Gaza war, they used to come every two times a week, and many days they lock the city, they turn off the electricity, they might come to the hospital. It's very hard. The situation, security in the city is very bad. The financial situation is destroyed. We treat a lot of people for free because they don't have anything to manage it. We are a pediatric and a gynecological hospital, so you can't treat a patient or stop treating this patient due to not having financial management to that. So we had an anesthetic machine that was burnt due to the electricity going off and on. And we're trying to get support for that because it is a very mandatory piece for the surgical department in our hospital. We try to manage, we try to keep standing and keep supporting the population, but these days it's very hard. It's very hard due to the permanent existence of the IDF in our city.
Thank you, Dr. Khalid and Sister Maisa, for sharing this. Please, our friends, our colleagues, your support is much appreciated. We need to help our colleagues in Al Shifa Hospital to get their anesthesia machine back and to help support them to stay open, keep their doors open, to keep, being there for their community, to provide for their community. And inshallah, we'll get more updates and we'll connect with them and see how we can go about replacing or fixing that machine that they have and what else we can support. So please don't forget, you can donate to Doctors Against Genocide, and we do have a campaign also for that hospital in Jenin, and we will be able to send the funds to them to fix that equipment and also to support the staff there to stay open. Tfaddal.
Yeah, we and the patients will really appreciate that because it is mandatory right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Khalid. ولا يهمك. Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Khalid. Now we have Dr. Fitzgerald. Are you available or still not here? Dr. Fitzgerald? Karama? Go ahead, Karama.
There is questions coming in the chat about people in Gaza needing blankets and needing help. If you have anyone who needs help, please email us at info@Doctors Against Genocide, and we will plug them in with our teams that are on the ground. We should be able to get blankets and supplies for people who need it.
Yeah, we have been buying hundreds of blankets and winter coats in the last few weeks, and we're distributing them to anyone that we know they need. Everyone needs, but yes, if you know any particular person in need of that, please email us, and we will be happy to help them get those blankets. So we have teams on the ground; they are doing this, and Alhamdulillah, we are able to reach almost everywhere in Gaza. So any specific need here and there, just give us the detail, email us, send us their WhatsApp contacts, and we will be connecting them with our team on the ground to help them. Dr. Fitzgerald, I saw you. Go ahead.
No,
Thank you for joining.
Of course, I appreciate every week I try to listen, if not live, then listen to the recording, and I appreciate everyone collaborating across the world. And I run a radio show in New York, and with permission, I often will play recordings from this. I'm reminded of playing. I'm pretty sure we played Hussam Abu Safia was at one point giving us lectures, and we were playing that. And so to have him still, forcibly disappeared, just a reminder, it's like one of us, part of our movement that we're still working and fighting for. So, also if anybody is working on things that would do well to broadcast to, especially a New York City audience, you can always reach out to me, and I'm going to reach out to Jamie and see if there's ways we can collaborate and understand better, what's going on there and how does that apply to New York City hospitals, for example.
Thank you, Dr. Fitzgerald. And again, if there is also, I think we need to all brainstorm and try to reach out to legal counseling. If we can get, as doctors, healthcare workers, advice on how we can equip ourselves better to have and obtain and insist on having the legal right to protect our patients and our spaces, our hospitals, that will be great. And I think we need to have a special campaign for this to push and get that right, despite, the opposing forces. Thank you. Now we can have Dania. If you want to share with us, please, we have the upcoming visit to DC this coming Wednesday. If you want to share us any updates, invite people to come, what's happening, any updates on it, how we can get more people to join, what do they need to join?
Yeah, no, we're going to be on the Hill on Wednesday for our monthly advocacy trip. We have meetings lined up, meetings with representatives that we haven't met with before. It is a difficult time domestically, and I think it's really important that we continue to show up. As everybody has shared, the genocide, is still ongoing, and just because the bombs are less frequent, people are still dying from the cold. We were just informed this morning that Gaza's out of albuterol, which, I mean, these are medications that are at the border, and the siege continues to kill people just at the same rate that bombs do. Babies are still dying from the cold. NGOs have been barred from operating in Gaza. So the situation seems just as dangerous, and we need to show up. So yeah, we'll be there this Wednesday, the 14th. And we'll be there. If you can't make it this month, please try to make it next month. It's really important that we all show up and keep it at the forefront. Some of the responses I got when doing outreach to offices is thanking us for our continued efforts. So that tells me that people appreciate that we're being consistent, and they appreciate AG is building with these offices. So please be a part of this. You won't regret it. And yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dania. So please, everyone, every healthcare worker, every doctor, every supporter of this cause, please join us in DC. It's not hard. We're going this week, January the 14th. We usually go the night before, and we have a full day of action and meetings and interactions with the staffers, sometimes with the Congress people themselves and the senators. And it is something that we do as teams, so no one should feel the pressure. It's simple. You can contribute as much as you want or as less as you want. If you haven't been there, the teams, Dania, Iman, Karama, everyone, all of us, we try to make this experience as easy and as smooth as possible. And usually the more we go, the better, the more we learn, we improve, our, ways of interacting with these offices. And we are getting actually, as Dania mentioned, more and more favorable responses to our ask and our requests. We're getting more appointments. They are more receptive to the information that we provide. And again, it is upon us to go there as often as we can to give them updates on the situation, whether it's in Sudan or in Gaza or in Congo. This way, at least they hear our side of the story, what is going on the ground, and they have no excuse to say we did not know. And they have been more cooperative, and again, the staffers, many of them are even sympathetic to the cause, and they will even give us advices on how we can be more effective and what offices we need to go to. And we go there every month, but we are planning to have a major event in April 15. I want to bring this up. April 15. April is the International Month of Genocide Awareness and Prevention. And at one point, one of the senators said, if you can bring us 1,000 doctors and healthcare workers, we can give you what you want, or we can agree to any demand you have. So we are taking this challenge upon us to have 1,000 doctor, healthcare worker supporter go to DC in April. On April 15th. It's the middle of the International Month for the Awareness and the Prevention of the Crime of Genocide. We saw this is actually a good opportunity to have as many people from all over the United States mobilized, especially the healthcare workers, to join us in this event. I think seeing 1,000 healthcare workers there is going to be very impactful, both from the awareness standpoint and also very impressive to the senators, to the Congress people there, and they will take us more seriously, and especially with the situation that's happening domestically here. This is more of a reason, and there are so many, so many things we need to demand from them. That's why we really want people who care more about the ICE situation to join us. We want people who care about, the minority rights here to join. We want people who care about, racism situation here to join. We want people who care about the attack on the healthcare here, the attack on insurance, the attack on access to care. We want people who care about Gaza, the people who care about Sudan, Congo, Rohingya. So if we combine all these, all these campaigns and all these interests, we should be able to have more people this time than ever. So please join us. Every one of us here have 2 times to plan for this. It's April 15th, so we have time to plan. Just block your schedule. Make sure it's only one day. It's not impossible. The weather should be good by then, and we are trying to let people know about this ahead of time so everyone has enough time to prepare for it. Karama?
Good. Nothing.
Yeah, good. Okay. So then we have Dr. Let's go with the by the list. We have Dr. Roxana Samimi. Roxana, you have anything to share today?
I don't have anything to share today. No, thank you.
Thank you. Faisal, are you with us, Faisal? Faisal? Faisal or Hadil, whoever shows up first. Hadil, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here. How are you? Assalamu
Good,
alaikum,
good.
everyone.
Alhamdulillah, good. How about you?
Good, good. Sorry, I've been drowning and getting ready for our event this upcoming Saturday. So it's
For
been
everyone
pretty
who doesn't know,
busy.
Hadil has 2 jobs and 3 nonprofit organizations, and also helping DAG. So she's always busy. But thank you for being with us. Are you coming this week to DC?
I'm not going to be able to make it, no, but I'll be there next time. I'll be
So
there in
tell us
February.
any updates on
Yeah.
the work that you're doing in Chicago.
So we actually have an upcoming launch event fundraiser on the 17th at a nearby community college. Hopefully the turnout is good. And we've been able to do some work with our students that are in Egypt, and we have about 19 students that just started Turkish language courses because there was an announcement that the Turkish government is actually creating 600 seats for medical students that were either displaced from Gaza or in Gaza, that will be able to continue their practices there. So we're looking forward to that, and really being able to coordinate efforts with anyone that can provide research opportunities or even like tele rotations with students, so that way they don't have a gap here. And we're actually meeting with an immigration attorney on Tuesday to discuss the new bans on Palestinians and visas to see what's really going to happen next. So if anybody wants to join that, I can send the link as well. You can join up and meet us on Tuesday.
Yes, please.
But that's all I have.
Yeah,
Yep.
please share the link if anyone has the time or are able to join. We would be happy to. Thank you for all this hard work, Hadil. Thank you for joining us. Faisal,
You're
ahlan
welcome.
wasahlan.
Thank you.
Hi, yeah, thank you. Sorry, I was looking for the screen to click on in the middle of all the screens. So we have been working very hard on our project, which is the creation of 100 embroidered pieces that document the genocide in Gaza. So we have selected 100 scenes from the genocide, and each scene is being embroidered by Palestinian women in the refugee camps. And the collection of the 100 pieces will be exhibited in Italy for 6 months starting May 9th. We are giving people an opportunity to sponsor one or more of these pieces. I'm going to show you just some of the pieces that are being embroidered here. May I, can I share?
Yes.
Okay, so looks like I shared everything. Sorry. Do you see this document here that says Gaza, no words?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the title of our project. You can see quote, blank quote. In other words, the title is blank. Gaza, no words. See the exhibit. In other words, we could not find any words in the English language or any other language that can describe the genocide. And therefore, we're leaving the title blank because the language fails to come up to the level of the catastrophe that has taken place and the depth of atrocities to the point we need to develop a whole new language for that. So the title of the exhibit is blank. And this document has the 100 scenes that are being embroidered. So I'm going to take you through them one by one. The Soul of My Soul, Hind Rajab. These are the exact scenes that you're going to see on embroidery. And everybody knows who that is, right? With the Superman cape, except the cape is white, not red. That's Dr. Abu Safiya. This is the mass graves, the Eye of Gaza. This is Dr. Ala Najjar. This is the one she came home from the hospital. All her children were deceased, martyred. The press vest, charging of phones in Gaza, the destruction, the nuzuh, the burned man on fire, looking for water, the drops, airdrops. This is this displaced doctor. Anybody knows who this is? This is a famous scene. Destroyed mosque. Look the scar, how much is pulling. The World Kitchen, the Shifa Hospital, cooking, Gaza children, the child that's trying to carry a sack of flour, the abducted. This is the return to North Gaza, the Ramadan massacre, singing, tents. This is a girl on fire. These are the aid distribution cages. People taking the sacks of flour. Crying girl, sad girl. Person carrying a child with the water. The bottles from Egypt with the rice in them. The flotilla. The key of return. The babies in the incubator. And there's a lot of these. We're only at number 41 out of 100, but you could get an idea of
These are amazing.
Of what is being documented here. And each one is going to have some written narrative with it. And the narrative is going to describe what this scene is about and its significance. Some of these are heart wrenching images, and you could see the gas shortage, the journalist with the dead baby, the
Going on.
bombings,
How's it going?
the girl trying to negotiate 2 big gallons. This is the martyr counter. This is a painting from one of the artists. Girl collecting hatab. The guy with the dog. The significance of this picture is that the people in the West fell in love with the dog and they wanted to get the dog out of Gaza and paid no attention to the guy who saved the dog.
Yeah.
People, the woman with the cats. This is the man whose daughter died and he was playing with her jadila, with her braid, was trying to undo her braid as kind of a last gesture before burial. This girl was saying, I knew that woman as my mother. I knew her from her hair. That was what this image is about. The destroyed cemetery, the leaflets from the air. This boy had a missing leg and he buried his leg in there. And he was visiting the grave where he buried his cut off leg. These are the graduates who never made it during the graduation ceremony. The mass weddings, destroyed mosque. This is someone being treated on the floor. Gaza maps, the destruction map. This woman was pulled from under the rubble with all these people working on her. This is a heart-wrenching. Is a woman kissing the hands of her 2 dead children. And you could see, I mean, if this does not make people cry, nothing else will. More, this is the attacking the boats and the fishing fleets, the university destruction, the starving children. This is the flower massacre. This is a drawing by one of the children, by the way. The ICG, Guernica, the Gaza Guernica. And this is the If I Must Die for Rafat al-Harir, Rifat al-Harir. So these are the 100 pieces that are being embroidered. And they will be exhibited in Venice, Italy, starting on May 10th. We're about 35% of the way in actually completing the embroideries. We have several teams. We have a team in Ain al-Hilwa in Lebanon working on it. We have a team in Samoa, near Hebron. We have a team in Ramallah. And we're working on adding a few more teams in the area. These are teams where the women are working. Each one of these pieces takes 2 months to complete. You're talking about 100,000 stitches in some of them. So this is a major effort. So I know, Nidal, you said that DAG was going to sponsor one of the pieces, and I'll connect with you offline about that. Anybody has any questions or any, if you know anybody who might be interested in this, please let us know.
Maybe you can put your email or contact info so that people who are interested can contact you.
Yeah, I'll go in the chat and I'll put
Perfect, yeah.
info at Palestine museum.us. Very easy.
Thank you, Faisal. This is a great project. Amazing work, hard work, but it's worth the effort and worth everything. And yes,
we have some documentation we'll be issuing. We were unable to disclose what exhibit we are part of until it gets announced by the institution, and expect that to be in February. But it is a very very prominent art event.
Thank you.
People
Thank
are
you.
asking if
Yeah.
this is going to be a traveling exhibit.
This exhibit is 6.5 months, so it's going to be until November 22nd. After that, we
Yeah.
think with the 100 pieces we have, we will have the Palestine Genocide Museum, and we will try to locate that somewhere in.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't know what location it will be, but
Yeah.
imagine we have an actual layout of what the room is going to look like for the exhibit. And let me see if I can show you that. You hold 1 second. Uh, let me should find, this is the best picture probably down here. If you see, some of them are going to be against the wall. Oh, you're not, I'm not sharing,
We're
sorry.
not sharing anymore.
Uh,
We will
sorry
share.
about that. There you go.
Oh,
Let me get
nice.
this out of the way.
That looks good.
You see that?
Yeah.
This room is 150 square meters. This key of return in the middle is the title image. And these images are going to be hanging on long sheets of gauze. They'll be attached to sheets of gauze and translucent gauze. And at the end here, we have a big screen, and we're going to have a projection there's a collaboration between us and architectural forensic architecture. There is a platform called Cartography of Genocide. We will be screening images from that platform that would show Gaza with about 50 or 60 different data points on each layer of the map. And it will show losses, it will show casualties, it will show universities and hospitals, and it's a pretty comprehensive platform that has been very well researched by forensic architecture. And there are some rumors that Francesca Albanese will be there at the opening.
Very good.
We
Great.
welcome any of you who would like to come and attend the opening on probably be May 10th in Venice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Faisal. Great work. Okay. Did we lose some people here? Or
Yeah.
why is the screen looks different for me? I don't know why. Okay. Okay. Is Mr. Yassin still here or no? Yassin, Muhammad Yassin from Rohingya?
He left.
He left, yeah?
Yeah.
He
And
was very patient. I just want to ask him what's the time there. He's really
yeah,
great
he was
guy.
very good. I hope he will come back.
What's that?
I hope he will come back. It was nice to have him.
Yeah, if he just give us any feedback. Okay.
All right.
I
Good.
think we want to finish early today. This was your plan all along? Daniel, should we give her this luxury? I mean, come on, it's only 2.5 hours.
Yeah, everyone spoke. It's good.
By popular demand.
I think she earned it.
She did, yeah, she did, honestly, yeah. The only thing I want just to say thank you to Muhammad Yassin and ask what's the time there because he was really patient.
Yes, he was.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you, everyone. As usual, every week, thank you for showing up. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for speaking up. Thank you for being who you are. All the good people of good conscience all over the world. We really appreciate every and each and every one of you. And they say in Arabic, "Man la yashkur nas la yashkur Allah." Those who do not thank the people deserve to be thanked as if they are not thanking God. So for those who we in DAG honestly are very, very thankful to each and every one of you here in the panels, those who are watching us, those who are supporting us in every way, whether it's by donations, whether it's by speaking up, whether by spreading the word. We could not do many of the things we are doing now, many of the areas that we are able to help without your help, without your support. And we owe you to thank you every and each time. And despite the bleak situations, honestly, DAG is in a good position. I'm enjoying, honestly, where we are at now because we managed to create an organization and a platform that is able to help, not just, talk. No, we can support our talk with actions. And wherever you are, whether you are in Sudan, whether you're in Congo, whether you're in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Rohingya, we can help you. Whether you are in Minneapolis, whether you are in California, North Carolina, and Detroit, we can help you. We can help you, support you by, joining forces with you, supporting your cause. With our campaigns, with our reach. We have so many people joining, so that is power by itself. We can help you and support you financially for the victims who need help. So this is only made possible by the hard work and the support that we're reaching from each and every one of you. So thank you, everyone. Karama, you can end it. I think I did my part.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your patience. This is good to end on a good note at 2:30. So see you all next week, inshallah. And if you have any thoughts, share with us info at Doctors Against Genocide.
And Hadil, سلمي على رشيدة، سلمي على رشيدة.
I will.
احكي لها خلص بكفي ظل داير ترجع على ديترويت ديربون. We are her constituents.
Will do.
يلا يعطيك